Welcome to the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Hi, you guys. It is time for the Sonya Buchanan Show, and this is your girl, Sonya Buchanan, of course. Listen, this is our introduction into the subject. It's called Back Down Memory Lane. We are approaching the end of the year, and this is our last record of the year of 2021, and I want you to just stick around to the end of the show and enjoy it, because it's going to take you back down memory lane. But listen, the next part is going to be the show. Until next week, you guys, enjoy the discussion. Bye, guys. Great day, everyone. It is time for the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Wow, guess what, you guys? It is the end of the year. It is the last Thursday of the year. This is our last recording of the Sonya Buchanan Show podcast. And I just want to give you a title today. We're not going to have a particular subject. The title today is Back Down Memory Lane with the Sonya Buchanan Show. But it's just going to be called Back Down Memory Lane. And oh, wow, I was going through the list of topics that we have covered and came to understanding that we have recorded 63 shows, 63 episodes of the Sonya Buchanan Show. And man, what an amazing time. I began to, now let me tell you, it was really interesting. When I started the podcast, I was concerned about the different podcasts. There's so many different companies who present a platform for people who want to start a podcast. And I was going through all the different ones, and I had narrowed it down to 4. And then I started narrowing it down to 2. And then I selected this particular podcast that I use as a platform. And I found out I already had an account. I started maybe about 10 years ago. And that is the interesting. I laughed at it. I said, man, 10 years prior to this was my idea to start a podcast. And I remember wanting to start one, but I did not know how to do that. I did not have the adequate equipment. I didn't understand how the equipment worked. But I actually selected the podcast platform that I use today. And I had set up an account with my name, my email address. Everything was already set up. And the interesting part about it, I didn't have to really work so hard trying to narrow a particular company down to use. I already had one, which I selected last year as the best one for me. And previous, I already had selected this one, best one for me. Isn't it amazing how life is reoccurring, that we are so equipped on every facet of our lives and not even realizing how equipped that we are. And usually, you as an individual or myself, we always select things that's best for us way before it's time to actually come out and do the thing. So if you are already just kind of concerned about all this stuff, don't be concerned, because you're already equipped more than you realize, such as the podcast. But anyway, the topic today is Back Down Memory Lane, and I was going over all the list of titles, such as the first one was, I talked about how I got started. There's some subjects like pouring water, time waster, every time, having the entire pie. You guys, you have to go back and listen to some of these titles. They were pretty good. I can't remember very detailed of what I presented. I will have to go back and listen to what I had talked about in the show. But there are some great titles like Identifier. I remember that. And that was done in March 18, 2021. Bringing Your Culture. Oh my goodness, I remember that one. That was done in March 4, 2021. Fundamental Thinking. I remember that one because that was very impactful for me. Love Authority. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you listen to my show every week, because I do post them on my Facebook account. You actually can listen to them. And let's see, January, come January, New Year's, the second time. I did this January the 1st, 2021. And good energy versus bad energy. I don't know if you all remember that one, but that one was very impactful. That was that next week, January the 4th, 2021. There have been 63 episodes. I remember the bridge. I did that one in February the 7th, 2021. I remember that one. It was talking about bridging with another, going across on the bridge. I remember talking about that one. That was very impactful. But, if you take the time to go and look at some of the titles and just kind of tune in with those, it may benefit you, or it may benefit someone that that will be impactful with some of the topics that we have discussed. But today, I just want to talk about back down memory lane. And the interesting part about doing a podcast is, someone asked me, how do I do my podcast? How do I come up with the titles? And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I do not know what I'm going to talk about until that morning. Sometimes I will wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and I will have this title. It would just come out of nowhere, and I will have the knowledge to present it. And I do not come to the podcast without having some reason while I'm going to talk about something, but I don't know the exact title that I'm going to talk about it until that very day that I'm going to record. And sometimes I will have maybe 2 or 3 days, or that Monday, I would just get the download. And like anything else, once you get the download, you're in this flow. So if I get the download for that week, could be on a Tuesday for the Thursday, then I would just go ahead and record it, and then I would post it on that Thursday. But I have had the most wonderful time presenting different subjects, and being able to speak about some of the things that have been in my heart to deliver. And it may not impact you today. It may impact you next year. If something that I recorded back in 2020, it may impact someone going forward in 2022. But nevertheless, it is out in the media broadcast where you can just click on my website, or you can go to some of my different platforms that I have my podcast, and you can just go listen to it. Like I stated, it's 63 episodes of the show, and I have not yet invited anyone to the show. I am making plans to do that. I'm trying to allocate how to do that. I would like to do a live, like with people. I think that would be fun. I think on Thanksgiving, I did a live with my family. And if you want to go and listen to that, it was just so hilarious. My family is funny. They were funny on that day. But I really enjoyed having interaction with people. Now, I have set up an interview with someone that I'm trying to get permission when the best time to present that with the person that I interviewed. But we'll give you some updates on that. But listen, you guys, I have had the most wonderful time presenting subjects. And things takes time when you are working and doing multiple things. I've mentioned many times on my podcast and some of the books that I've written during the time of recording the podcast, and I am looking forward to another year of doing this. I actually enjoy doing it. I am humbled about doing it. Usually when I get downloads or a revelation about something that have brought truth to my heart, I like to come forth and bring it to you all, and maybe it will bless you. But, and I because this is the last record of the last year, I want to say that if I've offended anyone during my podcast, my heart is always open. You can always send me an email. If you don't know my email or my social media accounts, you can always go to my websites. You can click on contact me, and you can just talk to me about something that you felt that it was offensive, and maybe we can discuss it. Maybe I can learn something new. Like I stated, my podcast, I haven't experienced everything in life, and I haven't experienced every situation that other people are experiencing. But as I grow and as I get older, I learn so much. And hopefully one day that I would get a chance to talk about relationship things. I do have some knowledge about relationships, but there is always a season and a time for that. But I've grown a lot doing this. I've learned a lot. I received so much innovation and possibilities. I've met so many different people. And most definitely, I'm going to have to get my business cards updated and let them know that I do have a podcast so they can come and listen. But for those who have anxiety issues or nervous issues or things like that will cause you to be unstable, recommend my podcast, because I try to bring a place of pleasancy, a place of comfort, and I truly believe, because that this is a very uplifting podcast, and that's what I try to do. It is not a podcast that is about religion all the time, but I do bring God in the midst of it, because God is a part of my life, and He's a part of your life, and He's a part of everybody's life. And I try to bring a balance when I'm delivering my messages, and a practicality in life, because I do live a life. I do have a life just like you and everybody else. And I try to make sure that when I am presenting, that it is not offensive, but I do take clarity and understanding of some things. And what I don't know, I definitely will come to you and let you know, hey, I learned this, and I did not know, I wasn't aware of this and that, But my podcast is usually about that. And I'm sitting here at my desk as I'm recording right now, thinking about how can I transform and broaden my subjects so it'll impact where we're going in the future. Things are changing. The industrial of technology is changing. The presentation is changing. The only thing that's not changing is God. He's still just as lovable and a loving Father to all of us. But one of the things that I enjoy doing is learning and being able to use my platform to share what I learn with others, such as yourself. But that's all I want to talk about to you guys, is just, share with you some of the different topics that I have presented here. I'm sitting here looking at the list, and there's this show that I did on December the 14th in 2020, and it's called History, All Types of Covenants. Oh, you got to go and listen to that. And my very first podcast was called How We Began, Confident Promises Broadcast Journey. And I remember doing that. I was driving around in the car, and I said, well, this was going to be my first podcast that I'm going to present to the people. And I did Memories of Christmas Season, which was December the 17th, 2020. Rightful Order. Now, I remember Rightful Order. But there are so many different topics that covered a lot of things that happened when we began the podcast in 2020, all the way up until December. Today is December the 30th, 2021. But going forward, I want to expound on different subjects, because life brings so many different occurrences and so many different reactions and discomforts and blessings and all of those things. And I want to present them to you. And if you allow me to present them to you on the Sonya Buchanan Show, I will be honored. But listen, you guys, this is the end of the show. I just wanted to do a back down memory lane with you all and let you know I do appreciate all those who have stopped by and listened to my podcast by clicking the listen to, which goes directly to my platform podcast, or you go to my Facebook accounts and you listen to the show. But I appreciate every one of you who have listened, and I'm honored by that. I always am humbled and honored by it. But I want you all to reflect on back down memory lane with yourself. In 2021, it's been a roller coaster for all of us, and I want you to just keep going, even when you're exhausted and want to give up. And I do have those moments where I want to give up, but then I think about it when I lay down and I say, give up, where am I going to go back to? I can't go back to yesterday. Yesterday is no longer there. There's no bridge. Every time you walk forward, it's like the bridge, it just kind of just fades away. So even if you turn around to walk backwards, there's not a pathway in the back of you. You have to just picture that as a previous episode in your life, that there's not a connecting bridge that will bridge me back to yesterday. So I will have to go forward. So even if you do go say, I'm going to give up, well, there's nothing to go back to. You either just lie there and just give up and be mediocre. And mediocre is different for each and every one of us. But being mediocre as in you're not going to do nothing else. You're just going to lay there and do nothing. Well, that's not good. So have a moment, but keep going forward, because we all need you. We need each other. We need each other to be all that you can be each day, as much as you can, because whether you realize it or not, there is somebody who is watching your life and being blessed by your life. They are being taught and educated by your life. They're learning about your life. So even if you are feeling like you're not important and that your life is not efficient, and that is not true. We're connected. Somehow we're connected, and you are important. And I want you to continue to go forward. Even on those frustrating days, just take one step. Read a chapter in a book or something, or read a page. That's going forward. But even if you fuss and stomp and have a cry moment, that's still going forward, because you're crying about it. So that means you feel like it's important to you to cry about it, and you're not willing to give up. If you're crying over your situation, you're not giving up. You're frustrated, and you're trying to figure out what's the next step. So those tears are progressive, and those tears are watering your seed, and those tears are a release. And it's okay, but you are important, and somebody is seeing your light, and so I want you to just enjoy today. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, and just be blessed. And this is the end of our show today. And again, our title is Back Down Memory Lane, and come back next week. I'm not exactly sure what the title is going to be, but it's going to be a title, and it's going to be a show. We're going to continue on going as far as we can until the heavens stop giving me titles and subjects and discussions to discuss with you and on my podcast. Listen, you guys, I do thank you. And this is your girl, Sonya Buchanan, with the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Bye, you guys. Until next week. See ya. Enjoy your holiday or your New Year's Day. Bye. Thank you for joining our podcast today. The podcast was produced and edited by Sonya Buchanan. For more information about the host, you can go to sonyabuchanan.com. For information about Confident Promises broadcast community, you can go to confidentpromises.com. Thank you for listening to our broadcast, The Sonya Buchanan Show, where we focus on one life, one smile at a time. Until next time, bye, you guys.